Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Get Geek podcast, where we celebrate geek, nerd, and pop culture. Each week, we deliver the best analysis for fans, by fans, on anything related to movies, TV, video games, comics, anime, and manga. We talk geek. And now, here's the Get Geek podcast.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to another episode of the Get Geek podcast. What's going on, y'all? I am Jose.
This is Wolfie.
AJ.
Eli.
And this is desperately needing a haircut, Walt.
So, you think you're
Hi, guys.
desperately needing a haircut right now? You should see where this comes down to. It's kind of obscured by the video.
See, the thing about it,
The dark video.
yeah, but the thing about it is that at least you have hair. I'm used to not having hair. So,
Oh,
this
that's
right
true,
here,
actually. Yeah.
I usually go
But yours-
cue ball, right?
But yours is easy. Shouldn't you be able to
I
do it
used to.
yourself?
Yeah, but it's kind of laziness. But
So is this.
forget about that. You know what I'm saying?
So is this mop that I have on my head. But anyways, beyond that, welcome everyone back to the podcast. I think this is the first time we've had everybody on the podcast in quite some time. And we're gonna do a lovely podcast about what we've been geeking out about recently on today's episode. But first, the disclaimers that we do every week, again ad nauseum. The best way to support your favorite podcast crew, of course, is to like, rate, share, and subscribe. You know where to find us, wherever all your favorite podcasts are sold. And in addition, as always, we are recording remotely in order to be as safe as possible. We can actually see each other now, which is pretty cool. We have video. So that makes it a little bit more fun for us. But if there are any audio issues or artifacts for you, the audience, please let us know. Give us the aforementioned feedback. And yeah, just let us know. Anyways, go on ahead and lead us into it, sir.
Hey, so I'm back. I was in internet jail for a few weeks. I moved into a new apartment and, had to work on getting my setup in Verizon Fios. Couldn't get out here for literally 2 weeks. And so, but I'm finally back. It feels good to finally have some internet, which is terrible to say that I need internet to function, it feels like. But an extra disclaimer, since I'm in a new place, I don't know how my environment's gonna be. You may hear some like super loud honking since I'm sort of by a pretty busy road, so hopefully it doesn't come out. But if it does, we'll figure that out as we go along. But it's awesome to finally be back, man. I've been dying to kind of get back, to a little bit more of a regular hosting and whatnot and geeking out. So I've been geeking out pretty hard on a bunch of things. And one of the main things that I'm geeking out over, it's not going to be part of the official Geek Out, but I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about something that you might have seen over the weekend through our IG page. I visited the Tamashii Nation's pop-up store in the city, New York City.
Nice.
And it's the first time that they've had a pop-up store here in New York. And it was super dope for me. I know that like it seems like there was some comments online as far as like they're showing and stuff like that, but I went and I was super stoked to see a huge giant size Godzilla and a bunch of other things that I'm looking forward to trying to I don't know, maybe sell some GameStop shares to buy. So do you guys hear, like, I know Walt definitely collects. I feel like Walt probably has one of the most diverse collections out of the crew.
I have a collection that my wife is actually mad at because I literally have stuff on the windowsills. I have it on the printer. I have it in the kids' room. I have some stuff in storage. If I could put it in the bathroom, I would. So,
Well, why not?
Of course.
Walt has the collection of a true elder geek, for sure.
He is the elder
Yeah.
god of our geeks.
And 2 samurai swords on the wall. So,
Jose, I've never visited your living abode, so I don't know. Do you collect?
I'm not as
Do you
much of a
have
collector,
stuff?
to be frank. I don't have as much in the way of posters, and I have a few things here and there. Like I do have I have an ironic kind of Vegeta like photo. It's a picture somebody drew, but it's like in a photo frame. And it's Prince of all the fresh Prince of all Saiyans. So it's like kind of a joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's dope. Yeah, those are dope. I love those. I love the ones that where it's like kind of like a clash of two worlds, worlds collide kind of
Yeah, and I
images
mean
and
he's
stuff.
drawn
But
in the normal style of Vegeta, but the font is like Fresh Prince font. And I have like a couple of things. Like for instance, another thing I have is one of the only pop figures I have is Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi, because I actually really love that incarnation of Luke Skywalker, and I thought it would be cool to get a pop.
I
And it's
know,
just him with his
oh
staff
man,
from that movie. So I'm not as much of a collector, to be sure. Like I said, that's more Walt's domain and your domain with the great giveaways that we have with pops as well, and the ones that you guys select in those giveaways.
what about the boys? I know that like Walt. Yeah, I almost feel like Walt. Do you kind of like collect stuff for the boys, but it's really for your collection since you're the one that's kind of like buying it for them?
Well,
I collect for myself.
Well,
Something
let's put
everybody
it
likes,
this way.
though, right?
The last two things in my collection, I got a one of the Bandai figures. It's supposed to be a dual set. It's set with it's Vegeta and Goku, and they're both doing their moves from the Dragon Ball Broly
Right.
movie.
Yeah, the
You
Gallic
know,
Kamehameha.
yeah. So I bought it thinking I had both of them. I only have one. It's just Vegeta doing the Gallic gun. So now I have to search and find the Goku that attaches to it to make him a combo.
I mean,
The other thing I have, I got a Jin Sakai pop. I
Yeah.
had to get that. So
I can totally buy that Vegeta Gallic gun off of you.
I don't know, man. I
The
actually
Gallic gun is
I'm gonna send
the,
you a picture of what it looks like. You are absolutely gonna freak when you see it. So
so
you
just
know.
sell it to me and then you don't have to worry about finding the other piece.
Well, I actually did find it, believe it or not, on Wish.com.
Oh,
out
be
of all
careful.
places.
Be
You know what I'm
careful.
saying? So, yeah, I know. It was one of those things where it's like I was desperate to get the matching piece to it. But in terms of the kids stuff, like I'll buy them stuff, and if it's like super special to me, I'll get another one, and they can open up theirs, but mine stays in the box.
Which is smart.
Nice.
And
That's how an
from an
elder does
early
it.
age, they've known. Yeah, from an early age, they've known this is dad's stuff. You don't touch.
It's funny because so I like to like I have a bunch of I'm trying to collect all the DBZ pops, mainly the Vegeta pops, but I do have some other DBZ pops and whatnot, and I got some other stuff too. Pops I don't think I'll ever open up. I don't know why, because it's like the way that you stack them, it looks cool and stuff like that, easy storage. But I also like to collect and build Gundams. And it's
Mhm.
one of the things that like I've never really got into, which is like collecting the toys necessarily or the figures,
Okay.
the figurines. Only because I want to open up the boxes and model them and play them, like and all that stuff. And I have a Gundam Death Sight that Walt gave me as a gift. And then today I went to the Tamashii Nations, pop up, and I couldn't leave with empty handed. I don't, I'm not flush. And I will say that like a lot of the stuff that they have there, while some of the stuff is a little pricey just because of like how the quality of all the stuff is, they have a lot of stuff that has reasonable prices. And I ended up picking up a tall geese figure that I'm dying to open up. I'm gonna take a few pictures before I do because I can't keep it in the box. I'm a little bit torn. The collector in me wants to keep it in the box, but the kid in me wants to pull it out and add it to my Gundam, collection and whatnot. But it's super dope. It was a really decent price. It was $23, I believe.
Wow.
So it's not a bad price for something that's coming from a brand that well, it's not the Tamashi brand itself. They're resellers, but it's all imported stuff from Japan, and super exclusive. Once it's done, it's done. Once it's sold, it's sold. And yeah, I think it's cool. I think everybody should go and check it out because they have stuff on the shelves that once it's sold, they're gone, and then they're just gonna keep replenishing with new stuff. So like when I spoke to one of the employees there, they told me that like as soon as it's gone, basically Tamashi, the HQ sends them another batch of products to list and display and everything. And then once that's sold, then it'll be something else. And I think that might go to like what Walt was telling me off air, is that some people were complaining that there's not too much. There was a bunch of Sailor Moon stuff and not much in the way of Godzilla. It could have been something like that where they were kind of waiting for some stuff to clear to then put up the Godzilla stuff. Right now, I believe they only have one Godzilla figure left on dispatch, which is the all blue Godzilla. AJ probably knows a lot more about that than I do. I got a picture. I sent it to him. I posted it up. But the they told they're going to be open basically for 2 months, I believe it's a whole 2 months. They'll be open until the end of some point closer to the end of April, I think.
April 25th.
April 25th. So it's March 5th through April 25th, and basically every week they're going to be getting a new shipment of new stuff. I want to go back at least one more time because I want to pick something up to give away exclusively to you guys. So yeah, we'll see how that happens. Maybe we can make it I don't know. I think a few of us got the vaccine. I think some of us might be able to like take a dual trip and finally meet up and purchase for the Get Geek fans out there.
I really want to visit.
What do you guys
as well,
think?
To be honest, I haven't been vaccinated yet, but I trust your judgment because you
dude.
introduced me to Kino Kunaya here in New York City, and that place is freaking awesome as well.
That's another place.
So I
love
trust
that
your
place,
judgment on where is this pop up currently?
Oh, that's right. I should probably tell you guys where it is. It's on it's 605 Fifth Avenue.
Okay.
So it's right by Rockefeller Center.
Cool.
On the ground floor.
Okay.
So there isn't a lot of parking because Rockefeller Center is pretty much no parking anytime, so be ready for that. But yeah.
So the photos
totally
that you showed us earlier, basically, you said all of that is basically already purchased, right?
Well, not everything, right? Like everything that I showed you that was like in the boxes, obviously those are for sale because it's whatever's on the shelf, right? They don't have anything in stock rooms. It's whatever's already on display. You just grab it. But they do have one product. They have on display one piece of everything that they have sold already. So it's like the display that you see in the glass. It looks so awesome, and I'm looking up, and then I realize, oh wait, all this stuff is already gone.
Okay.
So it's almost like a tease. Like they have the Cowboy Bebop Swordfish 2 that I really really like. I saw it and I'm like, oh my god, like I want that. And they were like, oh yeah, all that stuff that's up there is already sold out.
Oh man, that sucks.
I know. I saw the Boba Fett Samurai, and I was like, oh god.
So let me ask you this question: what happens to the stuff that's in the display cases? Do they sell those?
I think you said they do, right?
They...
Or no?
No. The stuff that's in the display case above, that's just. I'm assuming it's just opened up. It's the stuff that's opened out of box already, just for the display.
For collectors, that's not really.
Just to show like the stuff that they've sold
that's
like
a big
before.
Tease, man.
I know it's a super huge tease, but then it makes you. That's the thing. It makes you not want to miss out. I saw all that stuff, and I was like, man, I got to pick up something because I don't want to miss out. I don't want to like walk out of here and then regret not getting it, and then seeing it and wishing that it wasn't on display at the store. It was on display at my house.
Yeah,
it's like
you know what I mean.
It's like which ones died the next time you come around. Like,
dude,
no.
Yo, AJ, if you go and see some of the Godzilla stuff, oh man, they have like this 6-foot Godzilla that's incredible, right in the front. You should at least people should at least walk by to look at that Godzilla because it's amazing.
He'd find a way to put that in his room.
Yeah,
trust me.
I don't have the space.
He might move everything out.
Listen, he'll put the Godzilla on his bed and he'll sleep on the floor. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so let's get to the geek outs. I'm gonna go ahead and start just because I've been super excited to kind of get back on, and I just spoke about Tamashii Nations and all that. Is anybody here reading comics at all right now?
Technically, yes.
Technically, sort of.
By technically, yes, sort of. What does that mean?
Actually, I'd say straight up yes.
And for me, I'm doing a manga / manha. So
Manha.
yeah,
What's a manha?
you don't know what a
That-
manhwa is?
No.
Manhwa. I'm sorry. Let me say the correct.
I don't know what that is.
That is the term for a Korean comic and print cartoon. So
What?
that's actually my geek out for today. So that's why I say
Oh, snap. All right, we'll get to that
teased.
later then.
technically I am reading a comic, but it's a Korean comic. So
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm geeking out over 2 comics. So, you guys might already know that like there's a miniseries that debuted I think a couple like 2-3 months ago from Ninja Turtles. It's been like highly anticipated because it's something fresh and something completely different. And it's I'm not sure if it's a what if sort of thing or a different turtle universe sort of thing. But essentially it's called The Last Ronin. And it's about the last Ninja Turtle alive.
Hmm.
And you don't find out who the turtle is, and I don't really want to spoil it. You don't find out until the end of the first issue, literally the last page. But it's really, really interesting the take on the Turtles world here, because in the setting, the current setting is obviously, New York City, but it's a very futuristic New York City that's under the control of the leader of the Foot Clan.
what?
And yeah, and the whole city is on super lockdown, basically like super monitored. You can't even like walk into the city without you already being ID'd. And basically everyone is just like sort of it's almost like it has a Blade Runner feel to it as far as
It's
the
like
city
Blade Runner
itself.
and like Logan for like one of the Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, basically, yeah,
Sounds like
for
it.
sure. So what's interesting about it, about the actual issue itself, because I've only read the first issue. There's 4 out, and I believe that, and it's a 5-part series. I don't know when the last part comes out. I'm assuming it's pretty soon because comics are have pretty regular schedule. But the way that the story is being told is through the lens of this one turtle, which you don't know who he is, because the usual identifiers of the turtles is the weapons and the color of their bands and stuff that they use, right? In here we don't have any of the colored bands that we normally see, right? The comic is still in color, which by the way, the art is amazing. It's awesome. The color is beautiful. But he's carrying all the weapons. He's carrying the sais, the claws, the swords, the staffs, and the nunchucks.
Wow.
And he has a bunch of other ninja tools. He's using all the ninja tools. He has stars. He has grappling hooks. He has everything. He's like a full on ninja, and he's approaching this from like kind of that classic like when I read the first few issues of the iteration of the Ninja Turtles, it was very much ninjas, like stealth, operating stealth in the shadows, taking out the enemy from behind without, like it was very like Batman Begins esque, you know what I mean? So it was really cool to kind of see that. But the other thing that's very interesting of how the story is being told is that the turtle in question isn't alone, so to speak, right? As he's going through this initial mission, he is also accompanied by I guess the voices of the other turtles that are left over, or his other turtles that are his family, essentially. But we know that they're dead, so he's almost kind of having like a mental issue.
Having a break.
Like as an explanation, as a perfect explanation, he's trying to climb a wall, and he's telling himself like, oh, or rather the voices of Raphael, I'm assuming, or Leonardo or Donatello or Michelangelo, we don't know yet. The voices telling him, oh, you can't climb that wall, you're gonna fall right down, and you can and Michelangelo or Donatello or Leonardo, whoever it is kind of like talking back, and it's almost like they're having a full-on conversation, but there's only one turtle. These are basically the voices in his head.
Interesting.
So I almost feel like this is like he's having like a little bit of a mental health issue
their
here.
spirits are still in the weapons that he carries.
No, it's not that at all. It's like you would tell like if it's like the spirits and the weapons. This is more of a, because this is a revenge story. He wants revenge over the murder of his
That
other
happened in his
siblings.
head. No, I don't know. I haven't read it.
Oh,
I'm
I
just,
don't know. Don't say that. Oh man, I hope that's not
I'm
what it is.
just
I hope this
throwing.
isn't a dream.
Oh.
I hope this isn't one of those things that like he's in
It's
a
like the
dream
movie
state.
Identity with John Cusack, where that one
It was
killer
all a dream.
had all of those people in his head killing each other at the motel.
Oh man,
No,
damn.
it's probably not that
Now
at
you're
all.
screwing with
But
me.
continue.
I don't think it's that. I definitely don't think it's that from what I see so far. But it is really interesting, and it's interesting to see like how he's going about exacting revenge, and he puts himself on the line, puts his body on the line. He's ready and willing to die to the point that like if he fails, he's ready to commit harakiri. You know. So this is like a tried and true like ninja honor revenge tale just in the first issue so far.
Is this an ongoing series or is this like
It's a
mini
5-part
series?
miniseries.
Okay,
Just a
it is a
5-part
mini.
miniseries.
I gotta
I
check it
don't
out
know
then.
if this is if I don't know if this is gonna like launch some sort of new kind of ongoing series. I would love to see that because this is already too cool to be just 5 parts.
That'd be
And just to show like how crazy this is ongoing. The first issue, which came out about 3 months ago, is already going on sale on eBay for over $100 for the first printing, and it's already going into a fourth printing 3 months in.
Wow.
The third
nice.
printing, which came out about a week ago, is already sold out everywhere. You go to Midtown Comics, Forbidden Planet, any of the smaller stores, Vinyl Fantasy, which is where I get it, they can't even get the
So
third printing.
that's likely. Well, it seems like a resurgence for Ninja Turtles, right? Because they have that new game coming out, also
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's
Yeah,
Revenge.
it seems like there's like a whole thing. Yeah, there seems to be like a resurgence, but I would really like to see them stick with this very very adult and gritty Ninja Turtle story. I don't I want to see them continuing with the last Ronin story. I actually do not want to see them go back to like, not that I don't want to see or read anything that involves the actual turtles, but even if this is like some old man Logan kind of alternate, story that has nothing to
What if?
really do with like, the
Mhm.
current universe or whatever, I don't know. I would like to
It'd be
see this
cool if they
continue.
could, like,
So,
now in this day and age with the Ninja Turtles, they could certainly do a darker version of it on like HBO Max or Netflix or something like that,
oh
or even
man,
an anime style
damn,
version of it
yeah,
because
that
they've
would be
definitely gone
cool.
darker in
That would be
recent
cool.
versions as well. So maybe a cool retelling of it.
Well, the Ninja Turtles were originally
Yeah,
very, very dark. If you read like the first before they got sold to Nickelodeon, it was black and white. They all had the same headbands,
yeah.
black and white and red. All the headbands were the same color. They always had a grimace and a
Foot Clan
menacing
weren't no
look. They were,
robots either.
brutal in their fighting
They were
styles and
not
everything. Oh,
robots
and I gotta say, man,
in this original.
yeah, they are super brutal.
Yeah,
They are super brutal. Like he's whoever, like the last turtle here, the last Ronin, he's super brutal. I'm not gonna like he's like on some real like I hate you revenge kind of thing. So highly recommend.
very very interesting.
The other thing that which is actually another brutal comic. The other comic that I'm geeking out over is Berserker, which is Keanu Reeves' new comic. It's his story, his design, and it's the first issue, which just came out, I think, 2 weeks ago. Um, and man, this comic blew me away. The art style itself is pretty dope. It's new. It's a little different from what I'm used to seeing. If I had to kind of explain it, it seems like not super intricate line work, and the color palette is mostly reddish, or kind of a simple like color palette with extremely gruesome and grotesque designs.
Interesting. And this is from the mind of Keanu
I
Reeves, and
mean,
he's the character in it, right? Like the main character.
yeah, he's the character in it. It's based off of essentially his
Mm,
like likeness. And just to explain, at one point, out of complete anger or rage, I suppose, I believe, a completely, or not a completely, but a half destroyed Keanu Reeves image body. So, after receiving an explosion and half his body being completely destroyed and bullet holes in his body completely, he walks over and he punches his entire fist through the skull of one of the bad guys.
okay.
and you see the brain matter and the skull pieces and the blood and the eyeballs and the veins of the eyeball exploding out.
So that kind of berserk,
you know what I mean?
berserk rage.
So it's super super gruesome and grotesque, but in kind of a clean looking way. I love it, really. So and if I had to explain what the story is, maybe not the story, but at least the character, think Neo fused with super rated R Logan.
So it's like kind of
You know what I
that
mean?
older grizzled character, but also like with these crazy special powers that nobody else has.
Well, he doesn't have special powers necessarily. I just say Neo just because it's like Keanu Reeves,
right.
but he's essentially Logan. He's basically an immortal. Well, actually, yeah. As far as like what the character is, he's essentially an immortal that doesn't really remember his past, but he's been alive for a really long time. He cannot die.
Wait a minute.
He seems to have
what?
like super strength.
So basically, wait.
and
So this comic is about Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves himself, then, right? Because we've all seen the photo of Keanu Reeves in like 1750 or something like that. He's clearly trolling us.
Right. It's
He has to be, because you've heard these. I'm not the only one that's heard these weird theories, right? And seen these photos.
I mean, I don't think it's not Keanu Reeves himself, but it seems like it's obviously his likeness. But again, he has full regeneration, and he has immense rage, complete regenerative powers, and he cannot die.
It sounds like Keanu Reeves himself.
You know, and I don't want to spoil the ending, but he's been alive for a really, really long time. Enough to see much of humanity's rises and falls, which jades him as a character.
I think Keanu is giving us a hint. That's just me, but it sounds interesting.
I don't know. It's super interesting. I think it's really, really good. I'm super excited about the comic. This one's going to be an ongoing series. And they set up a lot of things for the future in the first issue. Really think that you guys should check it out. I really want to talk more about it, but I don't want to spoil anything because I hate spoiling comics.
Yeah, I understand. I just still have to like lean one more time on this Keanu theory. I think that's why he's in Cyberpunk 2077 as well, because he's hinting to us that Keanu has been here and Keanu will always be here.
Time travel.
That's just my thought.
I don't know. I think when you read it, you'll see. All right, it's not that exactly, but you know, Keanu Reeves forever.
BRZRKR, right? BRZRKR.
Yeah, BRZRKR, but it's spelled
like minus the last
E
or something like that, right? Because I think
it's minus all E's. It's BRZRKR. Yeah, and it's by Boom Studios, which is there's another comic series that I follow from Boom Studios, which is from the band Coheed and Cambria.
Oh yeah. I love that band.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And the Amory Wars. So it's they tend to like have like kind of like brutal, like, you know, heavy metal kind of style of comics. So it kind of makes sense that this is like fitting in with them. So those are my geek outs. What about you guys? What do you guys think? Do you guys have any questions or anything before we move on to the next person?
So how are we not Wolverine again?
That's the thing, right? So it does feel like it's Wolverine.
2020, 2022, 2024.
I mean, he doesn't have any adamantium, it seems like, or any claws.
What if he's just hiding
he
it?
definitely has been alive a lot longer than Wolverine, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, well, it's
So yeah,
Wolverine's new origin story.
It doesn't help that he actually can be Wolverine. If he was cast as Wolverine, I guess maybe a younger version of Keanu, he would have been a perfect cast for Wolverine. He has like the hair, he can have the beard. You know, I feel like he could be.
I just think
Wolverine.
he's a little too lanky to be Wolverine. Wolverine's kind of stocky.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah, but if they could get Hugh Jackman, who's 6'4",
No, I mean he would have to get pretty jacked though to look, because Hugh Jackman was so freaking huge that he looked like he might be shorter. Maybe he was just wide.
I don't know, man.
And Keanu's not very wide.
Yeah.
And Wolverine is just like, he's like a brick house. So
Yeah, he's like
Maybe.
5'4", I
He's
think, right?
five-
In the comics.
5'4", yeah.
Yeah.
I think
He's
shorter
5'4",
than that.
yeah.
But yeah, he's like
Mhm.
what 5'4", like
Mm.
200 something pounds, 250 pounds because of the adamantium or something.
No, he's like way more than that.
Yeah, he's I
like
believe he's
800
No, he's not
pounds,
that
right?
much.
I
Because
thought
of
he
the
was like
steel, right?
no, because you
Because
got
of
to
the
consider the
Yeah.
adamantium.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying. I
exactly.
think he's
Yeah.
like 250 pounds,
adamantium,
300
like
pounds. But we could look this up. We could look this up.
without the
We could solve this.
adamantium.
His exact height and weight. I thought he was 5'5".
I'm looking this up right now, but while I look this up, who wants to go next?
I'll go ahead. I'll jump right on it because I've been watching some things that are close to your heart. So like I'll just say that my entire Geek Out is basically about anime. I've been watching a lot of anime
Nice.
lately. I've been trying to be. I told you guys in the chat. I've been trying to be more of a completionist. So I'm finishing all the games that I haven't finished. I'm finishing all the anime that I haven't finished. I'm finishing all the TV shows that I haven't finished, and all that other stuff. So I finished one of the things that I finished recently, and it took me a long time to get through it. And like I was telling you the other day, Wolfie, a long time to kind of understand what it was that was so good about the show, I guess. But I was going through
Yeah.
it slowly on purpose because I knew there wasn't going to be a lot of it to go through. And that anime is Cowboy Bebop, which is definitely, I mean, it deserves all of the accolades that it gets. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. I'm not going to try to be cool and say like, oh, it's Cowboy Bebop. Like I'm too cool for that. No, Cowboy Bebop is amazing. And I get what it is that maybe is hard to understand about its appeal at first, and basically what its appeal like truly kind of is in the end. And it kind of depends on how old you are. I think it's interesting because if you watched it when it came out and you were like a young kid or a teenager and you watched it now, you'd have very different perspectives on that show because it's a very adult themed anime in terms of not just like violence or sex or anything like that, not like the strict adult themed stuff. The show's adult themes are more, I think, in line of the fact that the characters have more adult problems in a strange way, and more adult progression in a way than other anime because of the fact that they really inhabit a world that could be our own, just with with spaceships and stuff like that. And the show indeed kind of leans heavily. Something that I love about it is the show leans on heavily on different cultures, but like Earth doesn't really exist as it used to in this future. So like it's weird how on different planets in the Cowboy Bebop solar system, because for those of you who haven't seen Cowboy Bebop, I'll give you a brief synopsis. But like Christ, I know I'm really far behind on this. Basically, there's a few characters. There's Spike, Spike Spiegel, Jet Black, Faye Valentine, Ein the dog, and Edward Wong Hao Pepelu Tavruski the Fourth, affectionately known as Ed. And they're the crew of the Cowboy Bebop ship, and they're just bounty hunters, basically, in space in the near future. It's 2071, actually. I think, yeah, it's 2071, Cowboy Bebop. And what's adult about it? Like, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But what's adult themed about it is that other than Ed, who's like a 13-year-old girl, actually, and Ein, the dog, all the characters have kind of already been through their character progression. They've been through their arc. Spike, Jet, and Faye have these pasts that could have been like, honestly, like they could be their own anime, which is really cool about it. And they're their own anime with these different genres, which is really cool about it also. The Spike arc is very much like a Western, mixed with like some samurai tones, I think, with the villain that he really clashes with. The Jet Black arc is very much a film noir, and there's definitely hints of each genre in each character. And it's a little similar with Faye as well. She's like a mystery, like film noir character. but it's a really really great anime. And again, because of that theme that they've all kind of been through these past, and they're these obstinate older characters that are just dealing with their past and not able to move past it. Um, that's what makes it a really really interesting anime. The art style is amazing. It's from the era before they used a lot of computer animation in anime, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, it's just really it's a on top of the art form in terms of anime and old style animation, I think, for sure. Um, Absolutely. I mean, the soundtrack. I'm beating a dead horse to death here for sure. The soundtrack is absolutely amazing. There's no soundtrack on any anime out there that probably is that even comes close. I would say, like, there's Dragon Ball, all that other stuff, because it's just this great mixture of blues and jazz and world music and Western music. Like, it's just the most fantastic soundtrack.
Um,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
really really
if it
good.
just to interject real quick, if you were really enamored by the soundtrack, I would really highly recommend Samurai
Is it
Champloo.
Yoko Kano?
Because it's
Yeah,
kind of that
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Japanese samurai
it's so true.
jazz fusion that made Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo the musical masterpieces in
Well,
anime that they
I guess
were.
it would probably be Yoko Kano as well in that, right, because that's the composer that did Cowboy Bebop and also would likely do Samurai Champloo. I got to check that out as well because it's from the same guy that did Cowboy Bebop. But fantastic show, fantastic
Yeah,
show, amazing
exactly. Yeah,
music,
yeah, yeah.
amazing. It's character driven, so if you're expecting this really really heavily plot driven narrative show, don't really look for that. If you really look for the nuances in the characters, and also the absolutely fantastic English dub performances, this is kind of the gold standard for a lot of people as well in terms of English dubs. um Amazing voice acting, and we're gonna get a new version of this pretty soon, which I'm sort of looking forward to, but I'm also kind of not looking forward to at the same time for reasons. We're getting it on Netflix. John Cho is the star. It actually got pushed back. I think it was supposed to be out already, but he got injured on the set while basically being Spike Spiegeling it up, because he's going to be Spike Spiegel. I think Mustafa Shakir is going to be Jet Black. I'm not familiar with the actress that's going to be Faye Valentine. To be honest with you, she's not in my radar, but I could certainly look that up as well to give her the props that she deserves. But we're going to get that pretty soon. And yeah, so Cowboy Bebop is one of the things that I checked out in terms of anime. I'll make it a little bit shorter in terms of some of the other ones, because you guys talked about this, and I think geeked out about this when I'm talking about you, Walt, AJ, and Eli. I believe you guys saw the Baki Netflix series anime, correct? You
I
did
did
not.
not.
We
You
we
started?
started it. We did
Ah,
not. Yeah, we
Oh
didn't
yeah,
start.
we started.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe AJ didn't start it, but I know
No,
we all did, right?
yeah, we.
Yeah, yeah.
But we watched an episode without you.
okay. Yeah, I finished that up, and I'm a big fan of Baki. I actually saw the anime that came out many many years ago. That's really hard to find. That's the arc before this, basically, where he becomes the world champion, because you guys are
Hmm.
familiar in this one. He is the world champion of martial arts, and the 5 convicts come after him. So I mean, that was really cool. I didn't like it as much as the old one, but it's good to see some of the characters that I enjoyed, like Dopo Orochi and Retsu, and Yujiro, and all the great characters that you get to see in the Baki anime. But the one that I have to kind of talk about, and I guess the main part of my geek out before I pass it off to the next one, is I started watching Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is a big big favorite. That is your absolute favorite,
Finally,
Yo,
right?
nice,
finally.
Yeah,
nice.
that's your favorite anime, right? Wolfie? Or at least one of
I
your
don't. I wouldn't say. I mean, it's really hard for me to say absolute favorite, right? It's really difficult for me to say
favorites.
absolute favorite because it's it's dang. Actually, I can't even answer this because I don't want to. I don't want to not say it's my absolute favorite, but it's really hard for me to put it on top of like Cowboy Bebop and some other stuff. You know what I mean? But it's definitely the like when I recommend anime, this is the one that I recommend to everyone. Like if it's their first anime, I recommend Full Metal Alchemist because it's got great animation, good comedy, awesome story, and it's not something that has 700 million episodes. So this is the one that has the benchmark for me to like get people to get into anime and show them that like while you have like cartoons and comedic and whatever, you can have really good compelling story and an amazing arc from beginning to end. And this is why I love Fullmetal Alchemist so much.
Yeah, I mean, I started watching that probably less than a week ago, probably in between the time of our last podcast and now. And I actually started watching regular Full Metal Alchemist because at first, actually no, I did know the difference. I figured and I had read that Full Metal Alchemist is just sort of the original anime that came out, but it's not exactly faithful to the manga. And then it was rebooted into Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is more faithful to the manga and is more well received of the two series. One of the things that I had read, the internet is a dangerous place. I didn't get a spoiler, but I had read that the ending of Full Metal Alchemist was not very well received, and that's one of the reasons that they did Brotherhood. But anyways, beyond that, and just very quickly, I do want to shout out. I was talking about Cowboy Bebop. To shout out the cast, Daniela Pineda is playing Faye Valentine, and like I said before, John Cho is Spike, and Mustafa Shakir is Jet Black, and Alex Hassel is in it. I won't say what character he is, but Wolfie, you probably know one of the most important characters in the narrative, the antagonist, at least Spike's antagonist. But anyways, moving back to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So, like I said, I started watching Full Metal Alchemist and I switched over to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood after speaking to Wolfie and saying, like, should I take the time to watch the original? And his opinion was not necessarily. So I might go back to that at some point. And it's interesting to see the differences in the first few episodes for sure, because the story starts off a little bit differently. There's characters that aren't there in Full Metal Alchemist that are there in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. The characters that are in the heavier and more violent fight scenes, clearly, because as Wolfie pointed out, the original Full Metal Alchemist anime was a little more PG, and the reboot Brotherhood is definitely more on the violent and visceral anime side that we like to see, like really, bloody and awesome combat and stuff like that. But so yeah, I started watching it, and one of the other pleasant things is that the voice cast from the Japanese Full Metal Alchemist is the same in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That was something that I was enjoying. The voice actor that does Ed and Alphonse, who are fantastic characters. And Wolfie, we had our conversation a couple of weeks ago about Attack on Titan, which is a show that we both love. But one of the things we both agreed on is that Eren is kind of an annoying protagonist up until we get to later seasons, right? He's not really the best, a main protagonist.
Yeah.
Which, when it comes to Ed and Alphonse, they're actually really, really great main protagonists. And the interesting thing is, Ed is not that far off from a character motivated in the same way as Eren is in Attack on Titan, but he's just a better character, I think, overall. I mean, if you think about it, right? It's kind of about like his mom in this, just as it is in Attack on Titan.
Yeah, right? You're right. Yeah, actually, you're right. You know what? I never put that.
Just to break it down very quickly, and then I'll pass it off. I don't want to take up too much time. I want to give the rest of the crew, obviously, time to talk. But to break down pretty quickly what the synopsis of the show that I've seen so far is that Ed and Al are two brothers. Ed is the older brother. He's 15 when we meet them at the beginning of the show. His younger brother, Al, is 14. And, well, I'll just tell you the punchline first, and then I'll kind of explain the backstory. Ed is he's the Full Metal Alchemist, and he has alchemy powers. He's a master of alchemy. He's missing his right arm, and it's a metal arm, and he's missing part of his left leg. It's a metal leg. It's a 15-year-old kid. And Al, his brother, is bonded to a suit of armor and has no human body, and also is skilled at alchemy. And they go around and work for the state, basically as the state alchemists, like solving crimes and stuff like that. But their backstory is that the reason that they are that way is that they tried to use alchemy to bring their mother back to life, and it didn't go very well, like at all. That's how they lost all of those things that I mentioned. But yeah, like it's a really cool anime style. The characters are great. One of my favorite characters is, I'm not as super familiar with all the names yet because I'm only about 5 episodes in. But what's that Wolfie? Help me out. The really brolic dude with the blonde mustache.
Oh man,
who's like super sensitive.
Oh, what's his freak? I don't know his name, but he's so funny. He's the best.
Funny. He's super funny. I got to look up his name just to give him a shout out.
I got to look this up real quick. Keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
But like, so yeah, and like just to mention, this humor of the show is awesome because they have mentioned it not only, or the humor is not only reflected in just the writing, but it's also reflected in the animation. The art style kind of shifts and goes from the serious, kind of cool looking, like really detailed anime style, and you just might get a gray outline of like Alphonse, the guy in the suit of armor, for instance, with like a weird anime smile on his face when he's like shy about something another character is saying. So like the art style is funny. The fight scenes are really cool so far, using creative, different uses of alchemy. The storyline seems solid. The voice acting is really, really great. And like Wolfie said, it's not an anime that will take you forever to get through. I think it's about 50 to 60 episodes, somewhere in that realm. So it's about half as long as Yu Yu Hakusho, which is another anime that you guys should definitely check out. But yeah, I mean, for me, that's basically what I've been geeking out about for the last couple of weeks. I've been a completionist, and I've finished a couple of video games as well, like Death Stranding and things like that. But
I have the name, by the way,
sir.
just real quick. It's Alex Louis Armstrong. He just goes by Armstrong.
Armstrong is freaking awesome, and I'm in love with that character. I'm in love with all the characters so far, but it's a great recommendation. Wolfie is super right. I mean, it's one of the highest rated anime, if not the highest rated anime consistently of all time. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Check it out. And I'm going to throw this Geek Out to one of y'all now real quick. I think Eli.
Who's got it? Should we hear from Walt or one of the boys?
Me.
The boys? We got the boys?
Me.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Eli, let's go. Do it.
Yeah. So
Geek Out.
originally I had like 5 Geek Outs, but
No.
for time's sake, let's just go with 3, right?
3.
Yeah. So
That's about 5 minutes each.
basically Minecraft, the beta got updated. Well, not even just that, but they released like some new stuff with the snapshots, and it's
Explain what the beta is.
yeah, okay. So the Minecraft beta is exactly what it means. It's a beta for Minecraft, which you have to download, right? And it includes all the features for like the new update that's coming.
Most
which
of
would
them.
be most of them, which would be the Caves and Cliffs update, right? So so far we have gotten a pretty decent amount of content from that. Originally it wasn't that much, but now that they finally updated it, we got new generation, which is insane because for a while now, generation has sucked for the worlds that generated, right?
On the part of the mountains,
sure.
I, can
I
see
mean,
what you're
I don't
saying,
play
but
Minecraft,
on
so-
the other counts, I don't agree with you. No,
What? Okay, but whatever.
deserts are fine.
Okay,
Well, they're just deserts.
this
That
is-
would
They
be easy
fine.
generation, to be honest. Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, but
It's
again,
not No Man's Sky
not
level
everything.
of generation.
Yeah, but
anyway.
so basically what they did was they added mountains and stuff. It's not really a big deal unless you're like a huge Minecraft fan. But so far I'm really liking the way they do it because they have like powdered snow and you can actually like I guess freeze to death on the mountains, which is like crazy.
So you could fall through a block
Yeah, you can
of
fall through
powdered snow.
powdered
right?
snow.
And then get stuck in it and freeze to death.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty hard to get out.
Unless you wear a special type boot. right?
Leather boots, just regular leather
Oh, that's
boots.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I can see the concept of like I'm guessing uh,
What? Like new content coming?
I can see content coming from mountains. There we go. There we go.
Okay.
Like because they have goats and stuff which like are insanely aggressive. Apparently, I don't know for sure, but I know that these goats like hit you and you get knocked back like thousands of meters away. I'm
So
exaggerating.
so technically they can headbutt you off the mountain, right?
Yes. So
And you
like,
will die
They
a
are
horrible death.
tall.
remember when
now.
you used to foot dog goats?
They are tall now. Yeah,
It's the exact
Well, that's
opposite.
impressive because given that Minecraft has been around for so long and the maps that they create are huge. I think they're one of the biggest in all of video game
Somebody recreated
whatever.
the
You know what I'm
planet
saying?
in Minecraft. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. These maps are ginormous.
Yeah.
So that's impressive that, they continue to, build this up because just like Jose said, just the fact that they were able to recreate the entire earth and they're still adding more stuff to that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So that's basically all. I mean, well, I still have to get into the snapshots, but that's it for the beta, basically. I know Dripstone was added. I don't remember if it was there before, but
No, it wasn't.
no, right?
It was not.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. You have lava cauldrons. Like seriously, that's amazing. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, whatever. For the
For number 2?
yeah, well, I'm still on number one.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I'm joking.
So a snapshot came out for Minecraft. I would say like 1 or 2 months ago, right? And they just basically expanded on Caves and Cliffs update again. Um, so basically, I have a new biome, Deep Slate, which you can make bricks out of. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool block for builders, especially, right? And Lush Caves. I mean, according to this, which is the Minecraft wiki, I mean Minecraft.net, lush caves biomes are actually surprisingly found in a different way than you would expect, right? So you can find it with an azalea tree, which is like it's like super rare because it's on the world map, but you have to point it out from other trees. And once you do, that's when you know there's a lush cave right under you. But I think that's it. That's it for Minecraft.
For that one.
Okay.
So yeah. For number 2, I've recently played a game. Well, I just downloaded a game called 77 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. It's another gotcha game. Yes, I know.
Mobile game.
Based on the
Yeah,
anime, I
mobile
guess.
game. Yeah, based
Okay.
off the anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the one Escanor came out, right?
Yeah.
And I know what Walt is gonna say about this because he's also played the game, right?
I played it. I downloaded it because you told me it was something good to play, and I agree. It's a good game, but the summon rates for these characters are disgusting. And usually I'm pretty lucky when summoning on rates,
Yeah.
especially in DB Legends. I get all the great characters. I can't get one single good character in, Seven Deadly Sins. So
Yeah. So for Seven Deadly Sins, they recently came out with one Escanor. Yeah, I said that. But they are really, really open to giving out free stuff. Like you get let's just put it this way. If the Dokkan equivalent would be getting LRs for free on a daily basis. Like I'm not even joking because you have missions where you get level 80s, like you get one of the best characters in the game up to level 80, which is Escanor himself. But
who I do have.
yeah, you
I
do
do
have.
have him.
And it's very it's it gives a lot of, I guess it helps with noobs, and then you have pro players who are also getting the benefits too.
Okay, that is true. I mean, I do have a good stable of UR characters that are level 80.
Yeah.
But the ones that you really, really want are the ones that are impossible to get.
Yeah, like
So they
recent-
tease you halfway.
Yeah, yeah. And the one Escanor came out, and for those who don't know, the one Escanor is Escanor's final form, I guess, right? And that's the one where he fights Assault Meliodas. By God, they're really forcing you to take money out of your wallet.
Forcing you or forcing your dad?
Yeah.
Well, no.
I'm joking.
No, I didn't pay.
But I hate games like that.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
a P2P, play to win.
Yeah.
The summon rates
Or
are
pay to win, right?
like
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah. Pay to win.
you can't pull anything unless you're like up to the 900 step up point, right? Loyalty point. But otherwise, it's a good game, I guess. It's pretty
I
good.
love the animation style. The animation,
animation-
it looks dead on from the anime series.
Yeah, it's
so.
it's 3D
Mhm.
and it's like
I'm gonna check it out right now,
yeah, you should.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the series, you'll love the mobile game.
and I am.
The only problem is like I said, the summon rates for the really, really good characters are horrible. But it is what it is. I mean, you can still play it. It's still enjoyable. It's
Yeah.
just
It's not like you need
Has
the
it-
characters.
no, but there are things that you want and you
Has
can't
it been
get.
has
Yeah,
it been out for a
of
bit, or
course.
is it more a recent release, mobile release?
I believe that since this is on global, I mean, since there are like two different versions, which is global and JP, I believe that global is on its first anniversary. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure because that's when the one Escanor came out. But
What about you had a third one,
yeah,
a third Geek Out, right?
yeah.
Lucky
my
number
other
3.
one-
Oh, just to let you know, that game came out March 3rd of
Okay.
last year.
Just in time
Mm.
for the pandemic.
So, and just like you said, first anniversary, so perfect.
So for my third one, this one is gonna be really short because I haven't had a chance to watch more of this. But recently I started Demon Slayer, and by God, it didn't hit me until now. But like, I just realized how much animes repeat itself, and I know that's gonna sound very offensive to weebs and anime fans,
true.
but like, it really does repeat
true.
itself. Demon Slayer is
Some of it does.
Yeah, Demon Slayer is good, but it's like I said, it's a repetition of plenty of animes before it. Overall, I think the story is starting to, I guess, get better. The plot is getting better.
How far have you gotten along?
I'm up to where you guys are. So basically, I think we're like 4 to 5 episodes in.
Okay.
So
Again, AJ's
I
not.
fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too.
All right.
rewatch
He'll
it
catch
together.
up. He'll
be more
catch
of a
Whatever.
completionist.
So there's not really much to say about it. It's just a repetition, honestly. I think you have to get for me to understand why it's so good and it's rated. I obviously need to get further into the show, but otherwise,
There are a lot of times these shows take its time to kind of ramp up.
Yeah.
So maybe this is going to be one of those shows.
so yeah, I think it's good.
Let me
It's
ask
good.
you: Is the
Could
is
be
the
something else.
opening theme song super awesome? Because that always helps me get into a show. The opening theme song for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is amazing. The first
Oh
season,
my
at
god,
least, 'cause
yeah. FMA
I don't
does
know
have
if it
one of the best
changes like
ones.
some other
Mhm.
animes, but it is amazing. What about Demon Slayer? Does it have a cool opening to get you hyped for like from like minute 1 of the anime, or is it just okay?
For me, it's okay. It's not like JoJo level or Dragon Ball
JoJo,
Z
Stand Proud.
or Naruto.
Stand Proud is the best anime opening
Yeah.
theme song ever, in my opinion. At least in terms of, well, not
No,
wait,
you're
wait,
wrong.
Actually,
Evangelion.
let me change that a little bit.
He-Man. Yeah.
Cruel
Let me
Angel's
change it a
Thesis.
little bit. It's in terms of getting me pumped to like go lift weights or like I don't know. I don't really beat people up. If I had to go beat somebody up, I'd play Stand Proud before I went to beat that person up. That's just me.
Dang.
So not a great anime.
It's always
opening.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay, but I think that's pretty much it. So
Those are your three.
Think so,
Yeah.
or
You did
you
say three.
know
That is-
so?
that is.
So you know so.
That's
said
three.
that pretty quick.
That's three.
But
No,
I'm gonna
so-
pass it on to AJ.
Nice.
He
All
has
right.
pretty good-
Okay, so I um I've been doing I've been all over the place. I've been a mess. But I have been able to start something finally and start actually continue to watch it instead of start something. I used to be, no, I still am a completionist by nature, but it's been a lot harder for
I've-
some reason
I've-
recently. I
I've
don't
taken
know
it away
why.
from
It's
you.
bugging
That's
the hell
why
out of me.
I took it away from you somehow.
God.
Like you're a completionist, because I've just been completing everything recently. So, and I'm usually not a completionist.
Yeah. So, one of the things I've gotten around to recently is I've gone to a nice place called Barnes and Nobles. And at said place,
What do they
Barnes
have
and
there?
Nobles, I got a couple things. Books, you know. Good
First time we've been there in like about a year, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And
It's
I went on
crazy.
a little bit of
Mhm.
a binge.
Oh yeah.
I still have a lot to read.
Oh yeah.
I'm not. If you're thinking of Christmas presents or something, please just don't get me books. Respectfully, I
I'm gonna
have
get you
way too
bookshelves.
much.
How about I get you a bookshelf?
I have a bookshelf that's full.
So you need another one. So it's a perfect gift.
It really is.
You need an extra bookshelf.
Oh,
It's like
my goodness.
it's like
But anyway.
Walt's
The bookshelf.
Blu-ray DVD game shelf, which is very full
Yeah.
/ display shelf.
Well, his bookshelf will be on the bed with Godzilla as he sleeps on the floor. So
Yeah, but the one thing that I did get around, well, I haven't finished the series, but I did start volume 1 of Godzilla Rulers of the Earth. It's a comic I've been meaning to read
Mhm.
for some time now. And it basically follows, hey, Godzilla's back, because apparently I didn't know there was a series before this. So he's back, and the monsters are back, and the counter kaiju reaction forces are doing their damnedest to keep everything sane around here. And at the same time, you have aliens from above who are sending monsters down to Earth, which already has a monster problem. And then you have, I don't think they're aliens at this point. They're basically Atlanteans who are also sending up monsters to make things even more complicated.
Damn.
this is like the worst case scenario of Pacific Rim, right?
Yeah, it's no, it literally
It's
is Pacific
worse.
Rim, because it started in the ocean, and then in the second one they're like, oh well, they're gonna start coming from space
It's
now.
like-
Holy crap! But this just
It's
gives
like
you all at
Independence
once.
Day and Pacific Rim rolled into one.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I'm not gonna lie though, the lineup has been pretty cool so far. They kind of reimagine some of the origins of the monsters. Like there are some guys that have stayed consistent, like the Kreogs. They're the aliens. They only have 2 monsters right now. I feel so sorry for them. Their only 2 champions are Gigan, which it's kind of funny because they even say it in the comic. Like Gigan kind of has this mind of his own. Like he'll just keep fighting because he's stubborn like that, even though he loses like all the time. It's like Kenny, but if he didn't die.
I love Gigan. He's the original robot chicken.
And then you have Orga, who is pretty powerful,
Mhm.
but they can't control him.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
Oh goodness, and his regeneration factors. Boy. The other faction at play, the guys underwater, they're the Devonians. They have the biggest roster of them all, which kind of makes sense because they've been on Earth for how long now? They have Manda, which is basically underwater Shenron.
Mm-hmm.
You got Gizora. That one's a deep cut. And he's basically a squid, a giant kaiju
Oh.
squid.
Is that the one from the old King Kong movies?
Nope.
Oh.
Completely different person.
Oh, okay.
He's from the kaiju side of things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good old Titanosaurus. They even have Zilla.
Wow.
What?
Zilla.
That is a deep
Ew.
cut.
God,
Deep
no.
cuts.
They have Biollante on their side, which kind of surprised me because that's typically a different origin altogether, but
Which
they
is a
kind of did a
flower.
thing. Yeah. Destroyer.
That makes sense.
Kind of yes, but kind of no. But
Didn't
I'll give it that.
Didn't Destroyer start its life as a trilobite?
Yes, but remember, its whole reason for being is the detonation of the oxygen destroyer. Not the case this time.
Oh, okay. So definitely changing origin stories.
Yes, and the same thing goes for Biollante, because Biollante was also supposedly engineered by these Devonians. And of course, you don't have the full roster for the. I guess you could call them the Earth Defense Force, but in this case, they're the Counter Kaiju Reaction Force.
Mm-hmm.
They have Kiryu. It's nice.
I like that one.
They got Jet Jaguar. My God, he is overpowered in this series. Like, I gotta show you when he fights Orga.
Yes, I
It's
need to
half
see that.
it's half funny and it's half sad because like he basically one shots Orga, but then he starts regenerating even after having been blown up. And Jet Jaguar is just there, like just stomping him to bits. Like, don't regenerate, God damn it, I'm killing you.
Okay.
And then of course you have some of the other typical cast for the Earth monsters. Obviously Godzilla, you got Anguirus, you got Rodan. They did deep cuts with Varan and Gyra the Bigfoot Gyra. Yeah, that's his name. It's just
Wow.
all around great stuff.
Okay.
And I still have to get to volume 2, which is where things really ramp up.
How many volumes are there of this? Just two?
For Rulers of Earth.
Okay.
My second Geek Out, and this is
Is it
going to
volume
freak you
2?
guys all out a little bit. No. Volume 2, I will happily get to next time we do Geek Outs. It's
What?
4 seasons. In the time since we've last podcasted, I've binged 4 seasons
Wait.
of American.
Since last week?
Oh, no, not since. Maybe by then I was just getting into season 2.
Oh, okay.
But, okay, so, but since we've all been together.
Okay.
Well, although it was quite recently. Anyway, first 4 seasons of American Horror Story in the whole.
That's impressive.
Okay.
That's a lot of watching.
Damn.
I think
In a
I've
short
seen the
time.
first 4 seasons.
Oh.
Granted, it's not 26.
Wait,
apiece, though.
what's the
You know, they're like the typical 13, 14.
what was the fourth
Oh, okay,
season
so then
again?
that's
'Cause
doable.
I've seen.
So, first season was
Yeah,
the
I saw
Haunted
that one.
House.
Mm-hmm.
Second season, my personal favorite, was
Yeah,
the
saw
Asylum.
that one.
Third
Yeah.
season was Witches in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And fourth one, I mean, it was okay, but not my favorite, was Freak
Yeah,
Show.
with Kathy
Circus
Bates and the
one.
Baltimore
Yeah.
accent. Yeah.
Exactly.
I remember that.
I gotta say, pretty good
I think
all
I
around.
saw
I'm not quite where I want to
after
be
that.
yet,
Yeah, was the last
but
season I
getting
saw.
there.
I can't wait until you see the season that starts out with the 2016 election.
I'm looking forward to that
I
too.
can't wait
'Cause
until
I
you get
actually-
into that one.
I saw that in the preview. I'm like, wait, they actually have a season based around that?
That's a horror story right there.
Is Evan Peters still on the show?
So
Because he's great in it.
I'm not that far
Okay.
along yet.
he was there. I stopped off after like season 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But 1 through 4,
Mhm.
he is there
Yeah.
all the way.
So
Yeah. This is really great stuff all around. You know? I think season 2 is my favorite because the first season, it kind of hinted at the idea of, hey, there might be demons in the world or something like that. And then season 2 just comes and says, yeah, they exist. And then it's weird too, because I normally don't like sci-fi being intermittent with the supernatural, but at the same time, the concurrent acts of having this demon possessed nun and aliens running about, they actually pulled it off kind of well. I'm not even gonna lie. It was pretty interesting to see how they kind of threw that off each other, all the while you're in an insane asylum too.
Yeah.
So I gotta give
I
them props for
enjoy
that.
some of the writing in the show, and I think some of the characters are pretty great throughout the seasons, for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. Do you have a, without spoiling, if you are like caught up, what was your favorite season, Jose?
My favorite season. I did like the Asylum season as well. The witch season was really good too. I think the season with the witches.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Oh man, it's hard to say which was my favorite season. Wait, how far have I seen along? Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with the Asylum season. That one was really good because the ending of that one was really really good. It was probably my favorite ending as well.
Oh my goodness, yes. You just reminded me
She's a
because
great actress.
the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did not expect
Yeah.
that ending. Like I knew she level with me. She kind of turned out to be a douche.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then to go that extra mile with the very last thing with her son, like that
Yeah,
kind of
because
blew me away.
I like endings like
Wow.
that sometimes that are not necessarily completely unpredictable in full execution, but like yeah, and the way that characters, like I said, without spoiling it, the way that characters sometimes go beyond what's expected a little bit, it makes the ending really, really, really wonderful and delicious and evil and fantastic. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm liking about American Horror Story so far is how they wrap up the end of these anthologies. Yeah, they're very satisfying.
I agree. That is a strong point of the show that he writes a really good ending for these anthology seasons.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions like about my sanity for binging 4 whole seasons so
No.
far?
Well, listen, if you got the time,
all
why
we
not?
have is time these days, and you even said yourself, AJ, that you haven't had a lot of time to do that stuff lately with school and everything else. So I commend you for turning into a vegetable in front of the television and in front of your book for however long that you did over the last couple of days. I do not question your sanity. My only question is, did you have a great time? That's it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Currently, I'm not going to go into this like Geek Out wise, but I finally finished this book that I've been trying to finish for ages, and I couldn't bring myself to do it, but I finally did it. Is this prequel to the Predator movie? And so now I'm like, I can finally move on to the other stuff I want to read. And the next thing I got queued up is the Epic of Gilgamesh. So that's going to be pretty
Oh, interesting. You can actually go into that.
So what was the Predator book that?
It was
Just curious.
Oh, I'm blanking
Titles.
on the name. It was Predator. Oh, you shouldn't have asked me that.
Okay, it's fine.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Go grab it.
It's fine.
Find it if you have to.
It's
Yeah,
so
You gotta shout it out.
far.
Yeah, you actually have to walk to the
Yeah.
bedroom to find it. Oh
Our
my
fans need
gosh.
to know what exactly it
it's
is
like-
that you're reading, not just that you are reading. Well, I mean, maybe some of them will know when you say prequel to Predator, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
Maybe
the
I'll just
Predator,
look up
like
prequel to Predator on
That's
this
not-
Google.
It's not the one that's a companion to Hunting Grounds, right? The video game.
No, not the video game.
'Cause I know
the
they-
really sucky Predator movie, the new one.
Oh, that one,
Yeah,
the latest one.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty bad. So, all right. Do you know the name, or if not,
I'm gonna look it up. You guys, you can go ahead.
all right. So I guess I'm last to this
Yes.
dance, right? Yeah. Okay.
Really
Oh,
quick,
Here we
sorry.
go.
The Predator Hunters and Hunted. Not a bad book.
Okay. All right.
It just took
Not bad.
so long to finish.
Cool.
So now it took so long to finish because it was hard to finish, or it was just one of these things where it's like I didn't have time to finish, because that
It was a
can make or break the thing.
combination of both. Because after a while, I kind of started growing disinterested because I had other things going on.
I gotcha.
But at the same time, once you get to the ending, it's pretty good. But for some time, it just drew out in places.
Okay. So yeah, not really holding your attention all that great, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so like I said, I guess I'm last
Not least.
and stuff, and so before I get into my geek out, I just wanted to impart a couple of bits of news that just came over. One in particular that's really sad. The other one that's oddly weird, but okay, I'll go with it. The first one is there's news that's being reported by TMZ right now that Marvelous Marvin Hagler has died at the age of 66.
Oh man.
He is one of the greats of the boxing sport, and
66.
while there hasn't been much information parsed, because I guess this is a breaking story, he was taken to the hospital and he was having difficulty breathing and with chest pain. So we don't know exactly what it is. I'm pretty sure within the days that follow, we'll get a little bit more information. But again, boxing great, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, he's passed away at 66, and me, I was a big fan, especially back then, of boxing. I've kind of walked away from boxing a bit. I'm more into MMA now, but he was one of those greats. It was Hagler, it was Hearns, it was Ali at the time, Foreman. That these are all the guys that really at least for me in my era was huge, and it's sad to hear the news that he passed away. So
Rest in
there's that.
power.
Absolutely. The other thing that again came over my news feed is that we have a new box office champ, all time worldwide. It's no longer Avengers Endgames, people. It is Avatar. Avatar is
Man.
back on top.
Yeah, I don't understand how this
Re-release.
happened.
So yeah, there was a re-release in China, and so Avengers and Avatar were basically around the same day. I think worldwide they've taken a total of like $2.57 billion, but I think the difference was like 8 million between the two. And just on Saturday night box office alone, in China, Avatar picked up 8 million. So there is
James
a new champ.
Cameron be hating.
And
Wait, Blue Men
Be hating.
Avatar?
Yeah.
yes, Blue Man Avatar.
Yeah.
That thing's been out for how long
Yeah.
now?
Well, like I said, there was a
There
re-release.
was a re-release
in
of
China.
Avengers.
Why?
That's insane.
Yeah.
I
That is
told
so
you.
insane.
Are they going to
No,
re-release
Well,
Avengers
there was
just
one,
to?
but they should.
Well, I hope they don't, because then it
Well, yeah.
it becomes one of these things where now you're
They're gonna
constantly
try to
one-upping
re-release
the other
the
guy.
re-release.
That's almost like there should be an asterisk.
James
To it. That's
Cameron's
almost
a
like
hater,
cheating.
bro. That's what I
That
said.
really
It
does
kinda
seem like
is.
He'd be
cheating,
hating
though.
on
I know.
Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers.
Well, listen,
Haterade.
to their credit, Marvel Studios did release a congratulatory tweet to James Cameron and the Avatar staff, saying, congratulations on, reclaiming the box office. And I love what they say. on the tweet that says "We love you 3000." So that's Marvel being
I mean,
Marvel,
who
right?
cares, right? They still made plenty of money. In the end, they probably don't care that much. I mean,
Well,
it's
listen, if you adjust it for inflation, um, Gone with the Wind is still
by
number one.
far,
So there's that, I
by
guess.
far.
All right. Anyway, so to get to my real geek out is going to be very quick. I really just geeked out on one thing. Um, we don't talk a lot about horror on this podcast, and I am a big horror fan, and so one of the things I love is when horror and kind of infiltrates the medium that I like to read or watch and stuff like that. So one of the things that I've been telling you guys to watch, and anybody that I encounter that loves horror, loves zombies, loves historical periods, I always tell them you got to go and check out Netflix's Kingdom.
Mhm.
It is a great series. It's set in Korea during the Joseon period. It has political intrigue. It has sword fights. It has zombies, and it is super well received. I mean, season 1 got 93 on Rotten Tomatoes. Season 2 got a perfect 100% on
Wow.
Rotten Tomatoes. So, I'm not coming out of my what in
Wow.
You usually don't. You're pretty reserved. You're
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
you Melgars are quite reserved in your judgment.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Sometimes, yes.
this is a fantastic series. It really is. And so, as we were walking in Barnes and Nobles, me and AJ, something caught my eye, and this is something that I really, really wanted to kind of consume, knowing that this was the spiritual, um, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Successor?
No, no, no.
Muse?
The say again.
The Muse?
Yeah, it's the muse. It's the thing that
Okay.
basically Kingdom is based on.
Oh, like
You know,
inspired.
it's inspired by. Thank you. I had a brain fart there. And it's called The Kingdom of the Gods. And again, this goes back to what we were talking about. This is a Korean I hope I say this right. It's manhwa. 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 All right. I'm gonna screw up both names here, but but please forgive me. I'm gonna try my best. But it is a manhwa, and that's, again, like I said before, it's a kind of a general term for Korean comics, Korean political cartoons, anything that's animated on the page. That's kind of what it is. And so this thing really started out as a web comic, and this thing was originally published back in 2014, and it had quite a following. And of course, Netflix saw it, picked it up, and they enlisted the screenwriting duties of a Yoon Hee Kim, who is very, very popular in Korea. She makes a lot of drama series over there, and so she's kind of the person driving the Netflix series. And then Viz Media said, "Hey, would you like to adapt it so that we actually release it as a book?" And so she said, "Fine." So, the original story was created by Inwan Yuen. She then, with the help of artist Kuyang Il Yang, and again, if I'm messing up the names, please, I apologize. You know, they made this thing. Now, this book here is about 150 pages. It came out in May of last year, and it includes two stories. It includes the original, Kingdom as written, and it includes a bonus story which is called Burning Hell. Now, what's interesting about this book is that, unlike Netflix's Old Guard, which is a very, very faithful adaptation of the original, these two could not be more further apart. I mean, there are elements in the original comic that bleed into the actual series, but on its whole, if you're going into this reading this book thinking that you're going to get Netflix's series, trust me, it's not going to happen, because it deals with very, very different characters. In this one here, Again, it does deal with Joseon in that period in Korea. But here you have a young prince who's on the run because there was a coup in his country. And so, he's on the run. All his bodyguards have been assassinated. He found his way up in the mountain, and he encounters a bandit over there. His name is Jeha. And so he's asking for his help to take him to a very specific place. And I'm not going to get into the names because this name is just impossible for me to say. But he's got to get him to a city. And along the way, they encounter zombies. And there's a reason why these zombies exist. I'm not going to get into it, but it is all dealing with the overthrow of the government. And it deals with his father, the king. And I'll leave it at that. If you really want to hear more about it, please, this is a manga must have if you're into horror, if you're into zombies, and if you want to get a little bit of the flavor of the political period, because she does take from some historical events and stuff. This period that they're in particular, there was a lot of war going on in the Korean Peninsula, and there was a lot of famine, and that comes into play when it comes to the virus that starts this whole zombie apocalypse on this island. So, like I said, fantastic read, and I've got to say the artwork by Kuyung Il Yang is absolutely phenomenal. If it wasn't for the fact that there's a story, I could just sit here and thumb through the pages and look at the artwork, and I would still rate this as a must-have. That's how awesome the artwork
High
in this book
praise.
is. So again,
Very high.
like I said, really suggest this. The line and draw and the line art and the drawing in this is just amazing. Like I said, this could be just a picture book with no words, and I'll still rate this very, very high. Now, the second one in this is called Burning Hell. Burning Hell is absolutely as good as the story of Kingdom of the Gods is. Burning Hell is just, and pardon my French, it is completely batshit crazy. It is ridiculous. It is bloody as all hell. It is gory. It is awesome. Okay. That story, unrelated to the first story in the book. In this story, there is a secluded island where criminals are imported to live out the rest of their sentences. And there's one particular criminal who is ridiculously over the top. His name is Jew. And what he does is he kills people and then he eats them.
So Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
But Samurai Hannibal Lecter, completely batshit crazy.
Hannibal Lecter, Joker, Batman.
You cannot even put any of these guys together because it still doesn't do him justice, right?
Dang.
And so when he gets there, the guys they actually leave him there. They run out real quick, and the first thing that he finds is a whole bunch of people there, but they're all been skinned alive and are dead, but they're posing. And that's when he meets, now this is a Korean guy, he now meets the only remaining prisoner on the island, who is a Japanese doctor that had his license revoked because of all the atrocities that he's committed. And what he does is that he takes people, and his idea of a work of art is to flay them into works of art.
Sounds like a Twilight Zone
Okay.
episode, I think I saw. Or
Now we're going into
Creep
Hellraiser.
Show, I think.
Okay.
Right. But it gets better, because then a pirate shows up with bounty, thinking that this is just a regular island, not knowing that these two criminals are out there who are at this point actively trying to kill themselves, right? Because they're criminals, right? Jew wants to eat the Japanese doctor. And the
Or kill
Japanese
each other,
doctor,
not themselves.
yeah. Well, yeah. I'm sorry. So they're trying to kill each other, and then you introduce this pirate who is now mystical and is carrying cargo because the person that is on the ship that's really the treasure is a very specific person that, if sacrificed, will up his immortality so that he can take over the world. How you like them apples?
I wonder if this is an anime.
What?
I'd watch it.
Wow.
If it is, I'm not aware of it. It's called Burning Hell. So again, the artwork is so amazing, and to have it with the over the top. Now Kingdom of the Gods is very, very gory and bloody and stuff. Burning Hell is 2 times that amount, but with beautiful artwork. It's beautiful to see the flailing, especially when he flails a person while the guy is fighting him. So I mean, again, I cannot. I know it's a little weird because it's bloody and gory and stuff like that. But if you're into horror, if you're into that, I cannot recommend this book enough. And there you go.
There it is.
I guess it was good that I went last, right?
I need to add it to my collection. I'm gonna have to.
You have to.
You always end.
Because
I have so many books that I need to read.
Oh, it's
insane.
and it's so beautiful. I mean, there are literally pages out here that I wish I could just take out and just put up on the wall. That's how gorgeous this artwork is. And I showed Eli, who, you know, has an appreciation for art, and he just says, "Wow, that is awesome." I mean, the line work here, the cross hatching. There's an entire page just cross hatched, and it looks freaking amazing. It really, really does. I mean, this is a book that I think any horror manga fan should have in their collection. Full stop.
Manhwa.
There you go. Manhwa. Yes.
Horror manhwa. Burning Hell. Kingdom
Horror
of the Gods. All right.
Yep. So there you go.
So I think that does it for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Are we all
Walt
geeked
ends
out?
on such a positive note every single time. This time he ended with a manhwa about hell.
There you go.
It became me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you just slaughter
you know.
people in GTA generally, though.
Yeah, I just read about it.
Yeah, you facilitate it, AJ. So I'm not sure which one is worse, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. That was a good Geek Out podcast that ended on a beautifully violent note. And I just love spending this time together with all of you guys. This is the first time again that we've all been together in a while, and we really appreciate it.
Has it been since Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I mean, probably since then. It's been a long time. I mean, we've all been together, I guess, remotely, because as I reminded everybody at the beginning of the podcast, we record remotely. So if there are any audio shows or artifacts, please let us know. I quickly went through that disclaimer one more time again, but it's cool to be able to see each other again, at least on video, except for Wolfie, but I'm gonna work on that.
Next
get
time.
a webcam for his badass
Technical
PC gaming
difficulties.
Well, I had no idea that we were doing video, but now that I do, I'll make sure that I have it. I'll see how soon I can get one.
Very, very soon. So for the fans out there, again, the best way to support your favorite podcast that you just heard is to like, rate, share, and subscribe to the podcast, the Get Geek Podcast. You know the spiel. You can find us where all of your favorite podcasts are sold. We want to thank our fans for listening to our last and most recent podcast. Thanks for checking out our most recent Attack on Titan podcast and our most recent podcast about the WandaVision series finale. And yeah, I mean, that's really it. We just want to thank you all for listening and continuing to listen and for your feedback. And there's really nothing left to say other than what I usually say around this point. And that is for all of you out there to stay geeky, my friends.
The gang is back.
Peace.